Hey guys, John V again here from Phone Arena. You're watching our in-depth video review of the AT&T version of the Samsung Galaxy S2. It has a lot of similarities with the original GSM version and the version that Sprint launched not too long ago, the Epic 4G Touch. It's going to be available October 2nd for a tier contract price of $200, so it's well in line as being a high-end smartphone. Shares many commonalities with the other devices, such as the gorgeous Super AMOLED Plus display, the dual-core 1.2 GHz Samsung Exynos processor, and this version has support for AT&T's HSPA Plus network. Out of all the carriers launching the handset here, AT&T's version seems to be the most faithful one in terms of design because it shares similar dimensions and overall appearance to the GSM model, which has the squared-off looks on the sides instead of a rounded approach with the Epic 4G Touch. It's still very plasticky with its choice of materials, which does contribute to its very lightweight form. You don't feel it that much. Also streamlined at 0.35 inches thick. It's a little bit of hump towards the bottom, but you don't notice it that much. Still kind of wide in the hands for people with smaller fingers, but nevertheless, the lightweight feel is definitely nice. It's sleek, elegant, and nice, and definitely one appealing looking handset. Just like the original model, AT&T's version retains the 4.3-inch display as opposed to the larger 4.5-inch one used by Sprint's Epic 4G Touch. You still have the Super AMOLED Plus panel in play, which means that it produces some really nice looking colors. Punchy in tone, deep, blacks are dark, and of course it's definitely eye-catching with its oversaturated looks. Great viewing angles too, so it retains its vibrancy no matter what angle you look at it. And in outdoor conditions, we didn't have any issues viewing it. WVGA resolutions in play though, so that's 480 by 800 pixels. It's good enough, but we're kind of spoiled with QHD resolutions nowadays, and you kind of notice that with things like web browsing, just because we have tendency to still zoom in to properly view text. Below the display, you have the usual set of capacitive Android buttons. We didn't have any issues accidentally pressing them. Well, up top, there's a 2-megapixel front-facing camera perched right up there, along with the narrow-looking earpiece. Along its left edge, you have the volume rocker. It's protruding out, good feel to it, and on top of that, it has a springy response. And on the right edge, the only thing we have here is just a dedicated power button. It's not as raised as the volume rocker, but still has a good feel to it when you press it down. On the top edge of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headset jack, and you have the microphone right there for noise cancellation. Meanwhile, on the bottom edge, we have the regular mic right there, and you have the micro USB port for charging and data connectivity, and it's worth noting that's how you get video out as well with an MHL adapter. Lastly, in the rear, we have the 8-megapixel autofocus camera with a single LED flash. You have the notch towards the hump here for your speaker. Removing the back cover, you just gotta simply lift off the back panel. It's a flimsy plastic cover. Gain access to the 1650 mAh battery, the SIM card slot, and also the micro SD card slot. Moving at a fanatical rate with its dual-core 1.2 GHz Samsung Exynos processor with 1GB RAM, this handset just flies through anything. You can tell just quickly navigating across the home screen, it's just so fluid and smooth. It doesn't exhibit any lag or a slowdown whatsoever. Even more, when we try and test it with a live wallpaper, for example, let's just switch this up really quick here with a live wallpaper. Let's do one that's a little bit more processor intensive, and you'll be able to see the smooth, fluid nature of the handset. Still nice in execution, and overall we're just amazed at how fast this device is. With AT&T's version, it's running the latest version of TouchWiz on top of Android 2.3.4 Gingerbread, so of course there's going to be a lot of personalization with it, a variety of different widgets, but not as many as compared to the Samsung Captivator last year. It seems like it's missing quite a few, such as a social networking one, but still there's plenty of others to choose from, and you could download additional ones. If you execute a pinch gesture on the home screen, you get the Elite View to quickly jump into any of the home screens at once, and you can also quickly navigate between all of them by using the slider panel right here. With the app panels laid out in your traditional grid-like form, there's a little bit of personalization with this because you could always rearrange the icons and even add folders for better organization. With the core organizer apps, there's nothing really different about it on this AT&T version here. I'll quickly show you them here. You have the calculator. You have also the calendar, which breaks it down to either monthly, weekly, daily, and even a list view. You have your clock, which gives you access to things like the alarm clock, world clock, stopwatch, the timer. And you have even things like a voice record to record something. Another one that we like that's very useful is the weather one here by AccuWeather. It gives you good information directly from the home screen. Whether you use the Samsung Mail application or the Gmail one, the experience is going to be the same just because with the display, there's less scrolling needed and you get a really nice experience with it. As far as setup, it's pretty simple. Generally, it requires your username and password, and for most generic accounts, it'll automatically set up. Typing up long messages on the AT&T Samsung Galaxy S2 is such a joy just because the layout's more than spacious for our fingers, and on top of that, it exhibits a really nice responsive rate. There's 3 different options available for you. You could choose from the Android stock keyboard, the Samsung one, and swipe. No matter which one you choose, they're all great just because it's more than usable. Naturally, AT&T's version has support for 4G HSPA Plus connections here, so web pages like ours load up very quickly, and overall the web browsing experience is fantastic. You can tell it lays it out just like we see on our desktop. It has flash support, and you can tell too, it's not slowing down whatsoever, even in the face of a lot of flash content. It exhibits some really smooth kinetic scrolling, and also pinch gestures are nice and responsive, and overall it's a fantastic experience. When it comes to listening to some tunes with the AT&T version of the Samsung Galaxy S2, nothing really different just because it employs the same interface. Not as flashy as others here. You have things like the album cover and on-screen controls. And when you get back to the home screen, you could always get quick access to the application by quickly going to the notifications panel. Unfortunately, there isn't a widget for it. As far as the audio quality, it's pretty average. Tones are good enough to hear, but not really that loud, but still more than clear enough. Not surprisingly, the handset does flawlessly when it comes to video playback. Even with high-definition content, it's able to load up with plenty of speed. There's no evidence of any slowdown or lag. This video here is encoded in DivX 1080p resolution, 1920 by 1080. You can tell a lot of details, nice-looking colors, and smooth playback. One of the other nice things about the AT&T Samsung Galaxy S2 that utilizes some motion control. So, for example, in the gallery here, you could zoom in, zoom out. If you place both fingers on the screen, you could tilt the phone up and down like so, and it'll zoom in. It also works with things like the web browser. So here's a camera interface on the handset, and you can tell it gives you a great deal of mount for the viewfinder. You have the shutter key on the right-hand side, no dedicated shutter button itself. You have a toggle for video and camera mode. You can switch to the front-facing camera, the flash settings. And right here, when you click this here for the settings, you have a bunch of different stuff you could change. For example, the shooting modes, the scene modes, the exposure value, the effects, the resolution, white balance, and even ISO settings. So there's definitely a lot out there for you. Now, if you absolutely love taking photos, you'll be impressed with the 8-megapixel autofocus camera on the Samsung Galaxy S2 for AT&T. It just does a magnificent job in capturing the moment, both indoors and outdoors. It captures a lot of detail, colors on a natural side. It doesn't seem too overexposed. Indoors, though, in low lighting shots, it does take a little bit of a drop, but with its LED flash, it's able to illuminate the shots properly, maintaining a lot of detail and colors. Equally what's impressive, we're amazed by the handset's high-definition 1080p video recordings. Just lovely looking, lots of detail, colors on a natural side, and also moves at a fluid 30 frames per second. There's no jerkiness whatsoever. On top of that, audio recording is great, and also the exposure is gradual, so it looks pretty good at all times. Calling quality is pretty good, but not great with the handset. With the earpiece, it doesn't seem as strong as we'd like, so it kind of makes it difficult to make out voices, especially when they're kind of reserved and mute in tone. On the other end line, our callers didn't have any issues. They said our voices did sound very clear and distinctive. With the speakerphone, it's loud, but it tends to make voices sound a little bit on the choppy side. Who knows why, but we're left yearning for a little bit more battery life on the AT&T Samsung Galaxy S2. It just doesn't seem as strong compared to the Samsung Captivate from last year. It could be due to the larger display and also HSPA Plus connectivity, but we're only able to get 10 hours of heavy usage on a single charge. Light users will get close to a day's usage, but either way, you're going to want to charge this every night. If you're an AT&T customer and you're looking to purchase a handset, you really want to keep in mind the Samsung Galaxy S2 because it is a top-shelf handset that actually performs and executes high in every category. Yeah, things like the beautiful Super AMOLED Plus display, definitely one of the first things that stand out just because of its vibrant color tones. On top of that, it moves at a fanatical rate thanks to the dual-core 1.2 GHz Samsung Exynos processor, and this guy does not lag. It's by far the fastest Android-powered smartphone that we checked out for AT&T. On top of that, it takes some lovely looking photos and videos with its 8-megapixel autofocus camera, so you expect it to be a really nice device for anyone out there who loves taking photos. And when you couple in 4G HSPA Plus connectivity for reasonably fast data speeds, it's a winner in all books. So if you're in the market, definitely want to keep an eye out for this one here. If you want to save some money, then you can always check out some other solutions like the LG Thrill 4G, which is half the cost, but still not yet in the same line as the Galaxy S2. So if you'd like to learn more about this handset, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching, guys.